welcome everybody to a brand new series that we're going to be doing this time of year. Which I think we're going to be doing since there's a lot of soccer going to be happening. Hopefully this goes on for the entire season. But I want to get more videos out. I want to be more complex. I am going to keep putting in as much as I can with the Premier League and keep doing that. But we're going to be jumping from Champions League. We'll do Champions League, the UEFA leagues. We'll do conference leagues. We'll do all the leagues that we can, and up until the World Cup. And then we'll do the World Cup. We'll do more series like that. But I think a cool thing that we're going to start right now is Champions League stuff and see how they go. Those games are done on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, sometimes Thursday, but most of them are Tuesday and Wednesday. And we'll continue with that. I again have my good friend Matt here. Matt, how are you today?
I'm doing pretty good.
That's good to hear. So there's going to be a little difference the way we're going to do this. So normally I'm usually the ringmaster when it comes to the Premier League. I run it. I make sure, like we say, the games, where we're at, everything. This time, since I don't have the ability to watch every single game, and Matt has more of that ability and kind of knows a little more information, I'm going to let him take the reign on this one. So let's see if Matt could be a better ringmaster than me. We'll see what happens. All right, Matt, go ahead and take it from there.
Well, it doesn't have to be a competition or anything, but
everything's a competition.
So we're gonna go through one by one, talk about each group, kind of the storylines, the results from the first two match weeks, and then looking forward a bit to the next one. So jumping right into Group A, we got Napoli on top. They had a very strong game against Liverpool. They beat them 4-1 in the first match week. They won their other game against Ajax, or won their other game against Rangers. Yeah, they look strong. Napoli has been pretty consistent in their domestic league as well in the last few years, and they have a good chance to finish first in this group. Yeah, do you have anything to add on them?
I agree completely. I think Napoli did well. The thing I am going to say is I think Napoli will slip. I don't think they're going to get first in the group. I think Liverpool will get first. Liverpool won their first game against Ajax, and then had a slip up. They played like crap. They really did, but that was right after, I believe that was right after the game from Everton. They played that, and they just had a really bad week. Really, something was going wrong with them. They were a little off. Something happened, and I think Napoli played them great. That was actually one of the few games that I actually did watch. Napoli played amazing against them. Kept them away. Kept forcing them. Force. Goal. Turnover. Napoli has only allowed one goal, and have scored so many times. I also watched some of the Scottish League stuff, and against Rangers, they played really well. But with that being said, Rangers just lost to Celtic, like 4-0, just this past week. So Rangers are on a downward fall right now. So I think the Rangers are going to get knocked out. I think Napoli's going to come in, get second. I think Ajax is going to go third, and Liverpool will be first place.
Yeah, so Liverpool did come out with a strong win against Ajax after their loss to Napoli. But what's interesting is, in order for Liverpool to finish first in this group, they need Napoli to drop points in one of the other games, or they win the tiebreaker against them, basically. If Liverpool wins every other game. So, I think something could happen. Liverpool could have the other game against Ajax be a draw. They could not beat Napoli in the next fixture. It'll be interesting to see. I think Ajax will be hoping that they can stay in third, which they are 3 points up on Rangers, and if they finish third, of course, third place in all these groups goes down to the Europa League knockouts. So a lot of these teams that aren't necessarily going to be challenging for first or second we'll be just hoping to advance in that way. Yeah, that's all I've got for Group A. Their matchups this week. It is Liverpool hosting Rangers, so I expect that to be a bloodbath. I think Liverpool is eager to prove themselves, and they're finding their form. And then Ajax hosts Napoli, which could go either way. I think, it's a home game for them, but Napoli has been very strong, so we'll definitely see what happens there.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. What do you have as the score of those games?
I think Liverpool will win like 3-0.
Okay.
And I think Napoli will take it 2-1.
Okay.
I think Ajax will gain a lot of benefit from the home crowd, and they're a strong team in a strong league. They not that long ago were deep in the Champions League against Spurs, against Liverpool, different years. But yeah, they have a strong pedigree in Europe, and they could also pull out a result too. But I'm gonna pick this week to be a Napoli win.
All right, very good. So I agree with you on the Liverpool game. I think it's going to be a big winner. I think Rangers are coming up, losing against one of their biggest rivals in the division that they had to win. They're not going to do well, but I think it's going to be bigger than that. You have Liverpool in a negative goal differential. They got to get out of that hole. They're going to be scoring as much as they can. It's going to be 5-0. It's at home. I don't think. Yeah, they're not going to. They're going to make sure Rangers have no chance. Like I said, the Rangers are going to be in fourth, unfortunately. Going to get knocked out completely. They're going to try to fight, but I just don't think Rangers are going to do well enough there. As for Napoli and Ajax, I think this game here is going to be Napoli's. It's at home. Napoli's a very good team at home.
They're actually the away team.
Oh, are they? Did I have it wrong? Oh, if they're going to be a away team, I will actually say, okay, it is. You are right. I will say then that Ajax wins it. I will say I will put Ajax winning it 2-1. This is the one that they're going to slip. This is their slip game here. And it's going to give the boost. That's why I say Liverpool's going to take it. It's going to be Ajax. So the two losses they're going to do is Ajax and then Liverpool. And they're going to lose it. They're going to lose at Liverpool. They're going to be Napoli's 2 losses. And that'll get Liverpool as the number 1 team. So.
Okay.
All right, Group B.
On to Group B.
Yep.
A very surprising result here. The favorite in Group B, Atletico Madrid, is in third after a loss in the first matchup. Actually, no, they won the first matchup. They lost the second matchup against Bayer Leverkusen, German club, who also lost their other matchup. So both those teams are tied with 3 points in the group for second place. However, Madrid has the worst goal differential, so they're currently sitting in third. But this biggest surprise out of this group is Club Bruges, out of Belgium, is 2 wins from 2, 5 goals scored, 0 conceded. They put on a clinic against Porto. They routed them 4 goals to 0. The goals just kept coming in that game, and they never looked like they were slowing down. I think that's a great boost of confidence for them. They'll definitely have a tough road still, but maybe they make second. Maybe they go on to the knockouts of the Champions League, which would be huge for them. Porto, though, also a Portuguese team with a strong pedigree. They've lost both their games. They will be hoping for better results in the coming games, and so yeah, I expect things to change from here. It is only 2 out of 6 matches, but those points matter.
For sure.
This coming week, Porto will be playing Leverkusen, and Atletico is against Bruges, so that'll be a big test for them.
Yep.
What are your thoughts on Group B?
Well, I think this is having the same cuckoo effect on the division as it is with the Premier League. Normally, you would see Porto and Madrid on top with all the rest of the teams on the bottom.
Yep.
This time it's flipped, and Porto need to step up. They got to get their heads out of their butts right now, and they're really going to have to start playing well. Leverkusen is a good team. They have been known to play well against the big boys, giant killers, as you say. Club Bruges, I've heard of them. I've never seen them play, so I don't know.
They didn't even win the Belgian league that much.
Yeah.
It's
And
quite impressive that they're doing this well.
And they haven't let a goal in. They haven't let a goal in even. Like, that's just incredible. So, yeah,
Their biggest test is this week.
Yeah, definitely for sure. But yeah, go ahead with what you think your predictions are for this.
So I think Leverkusen, who's playing Porto, this game is an away game. I think they will pull out a draw. I think it's going to be 1-1.
What game is this again?
Porto and Leverkusen.
Okay.
I think Porto is going to, rally the home supporters, going to score an early goal, going to have a lot of momentum. But I think Leverkusen is going to weather the storm, score a late equalizer, like somewhere in the final 30 minutes. I will note there is a Chelsea loanee playing for Leverkusen who's had a good campaign so far in the first two games. Calvin Hudson-Odoi.
Oh, wow! Really?
Leverkusen. Yep. And he may have one assist, but he's been in the build-up to a lot of their goals.
Yeah.
Not the final pass. So great to see him succeeding over there.
Yeah.
And I will say another player to note, more for a personal reason, but he will be playing in the World Cup potentially in a couple of months. But Jonathan Eustáquio.
I knew you were gonna say that. I knew it. Okay, go ahead.
Canadian.
Yeah.
Midfielder playing for Porto. He's been immense for all of the teams that he's played for up until this point. This is his biggest test. He started that 4-0 defeat to Bruges, and I don't necessarily think any of their team played particularly well in that game, but he'll be definitely one to watch as he's got something to prove ahead of the World Cup.
Yeah.
Of course, like many Portuguese players on that team will also have something to prove. What's your prediction for that game?
So I think Porto's going to come in and going to kind of show the home squad that, hey guys, we still got it. Don't worry about us. I think it'll be close. Leverkusen is a very good squad, young but very good. And I have it as a 2-1 win. Porto 2-1.
Right. And for the next matchup, it is going to be Club Bruges hosting Atletico Madrid at their stadium in Belgium. I think Atleti is a very strong team. They're typically a very defensive team, though. So if they can prevent the other team from scoring, they have a good shot in every game. They're an annoying team to play against, as a lot of teams that play them in the knockouts of the Champions League know. So I actually think they're going to come in and pick up a 1-0 away victory. The classic, the special of their manager, what's his name, Simeone.
Yeah.
Of the 1-0 wins, I think he's going to pick up another one.
So you're saying Club Bruges is going to get a 1-0 win?
No, I think.
Madrid? Okay.
Madrid's going to win 1-0.
All right.
Away. Yeah.
Okay. Whew. Okay.
Atletico, yes.
Yeah. All right. Very good.
And yourself?
So I think Club Brugge comes in, does well. I think out of all the clubs that we have, I think the biggest upset is going to be this one. I think it's going to be a draw.
Okay.
I think Atletico Madrid is going to be going there. They're going to be looking ahead in their division because they're okay in their division right now. I think they're mid-table right now, and they're doing okay. But they need to focus on their division and not this. This is going to be one of the few games that they kind of go, okay, Club Brugge should be fourth. We should be beating them, so we'll put in some of the backups, a couple of the backup players. And that's going to be their downfall because it's going to be too late to catch up to them. So I think Club Brugge gets a draw for them, and that'll be their basic win for that. So 1-1.
Okay. We'll keep them in first in the group.
That will keep them first. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. We're going on to Group C. In Group C, we have Inter, Barcelona, Bayern, and Placen? Victoria, Victronica.
As far as I know, it's called Pilsen.
Oh, is it Plusen? Okay. That's why I let you do these. Okay, go ahead.
This is what a lot of people are calling the group of death. Between Bayern, Barcelona, and Inter Milan. Those are three European giants, and all of them are in solid form domestically. But the so far team that has separated itself is Bayern Munich. They've won 2 out of 2. They haven't conceded a goal yet. They're averaging scoring 2 goals in each game. They handled Barcelona quite well against their former striker, I should say, as Robert Lewandowski joined Barcelona in the summer.
Yes, he did.
And so he got to play against his former goalkeeper and his former team. But he could not score. It looked like he, every time he was in a chance to score, he just couldn't do it. He had a few close misses, maybe some mental game in there. I don't know. But yeah, Bayern's looking good. I think they will win this group. Another shout out, because we love to shout out our countrymen in this show.
Yes.
Alphonso Davies, the best Canadian in the world.
Yeah.
Who plays for Bayern Munich, is a champion of Europe as well in his young age.
Oh my god.
And he's been playing well. He did pick up a bit of a knock in the international games this past weekend, but
okay,
he seemed to be walking off all right, and I think he'll continue to play well for his club and then eventually his country. So yeah, it's going to be a tight battle between Barcelona and Inter for that second place. And unfortunately Pilsen is just going to be fourth. I think if they pick up a point, they'll be lucky, and they'll be considering it like a good result.
Yeah.
They're just happy to be here, I feel like. They did qualify for the group stage through the playoff, so they almost didn't make it, but they did, and this was their reward.
I know. I was watching some videos and some big people talking about this, and yeah, that's what they said. This is the group of death here. The weird thing is to say that, though, is this is a group of death, especially when you have Barcelona, who didn't make it past the group stage for the first time in like 16 years last season. So for that team to shift down and then be like, oh yeah, guys, this is a group of death, but you have to. Barcelona, even though they're in so much debt, and they keep trying to sign these the best players, and they keep doing this, yeah, Barcelona's one of the best players, best teams. You have to play them as is. But yeah, Bayern's of course gonna win it all the way through, I think. And I think it probably should be Bayern Inter, and then Barcelona.
I think that's a good bet.
That's where I say it is, but for right now, it's based off of goal difference. But
although I think Inter has been slipping in the domestic league.
Have they? Okay.
There's been rumors of their coach being under fire, but you never know.
Yeah.
If they do well in the Champions League, maybe not. So we've got this week
Yep.
on Tuesday, Bayern hosts Pilsen
Yeah.
at the Allianz Arena. This is going to be a rout. I'm predicting 6-0. I think they're just gonna get one and then just keep battering them. What's your take on that one?
6-1? Wow. Okay, dude. God. Way to give Plzen. Way to give them even credit there. Byram's coming out strong. They're not gonna let anything in. It's gonna be everybody's gonna be drinking heavy. By the 75th minute, it's gonna be 5-0. It won't be 6. They won't get 6. They'll be nice about it. They'll only give them 5. It'll only be 5. Come on.
Remember the 10-2?
I do. Oh God, do I ever? Hey, I always remember the 10-2. Okay, 10-2 is amazing. I love 10-2. Right? 10-2 is awesome.
If they can do that against, a top 4 English side, think of what they can do against a team from the Czech Republic who actually is unbeaten domestically.
Yep.
They're ahead of Slavia Prague. They've won 7 and drawn 1 domestically, but it's a different beast.
Yeah.
They're playing best teams in Europe.
I will say one more thing too. There are three scores that I know. All right, that I will always remember. Okay.
Okay.
One score.
Is one of them the Germany-Brazil one?
No, that was awesome too, but I won't remember that one. That is the one we just talked about. The next one will be United States versus Mexico, 2-0, as the 2-0 as everybody calls it. And then the third one is 3-2. No, 4. Oh God, I forgot the score. 4-2, I think it is. Liverpool versus Barcelona, or 4-1. They had to score 4 at home, and they scored 3. That was it was 4-0. Okay, that was the game where everybody was like, no way, they didn't just do that to him. Where they were going to take a corner, and the guy was like, yep, and he just like, oh, psych, boop, popped it right in, and it just went in. Like, it was beautiful, amazing. Those are the games that you remember. So yeah, but yeah, Inter Barca. What do you think?
I think it's in Milan.
Yep.
They're gonna have the rowdy ultras in attendance.
Mm-hmm.
Barcelona is still, I think, a little bit shaky in terms of like where their squad is, where they want to be. They're also undefeated domestically as well, through 6 games. But I think Inter's gonna squeak one out. I think it'll be a lot of goals scored. I think it's gonna be 3-2.
Ooh. 3-2 Inter.
3-2 for Inter. Yeah.
Okay. I think Barcelona is getting better. I just don't think they're that good, and I think Inter's going down, or Inter's getting worse. But they're still good enough. It's kind of like one of those weird math problems where if a car is going west on Interstate 4 at 75 miles an hour down a hill, and car going on it the other way east on Interstate 4 is going the other way, but they're going this when they're going to collide, right? They haven't collided yet, and they're not going to switch up. There's no switching just yet. It's close, but they haven't switched just yet. But yeah, I will say this is going to be one of those moments Inter does get a win. I think it's gonna be a lot less goals though. I think it's gonna be 2-1, 2-1 Inter on this one.
Only 2 less goals.
Yeah.
We could also talk about briefly the other Barcelona game where Roma surprised them, and we'll remember the Costas Manolas goal to put them ahead at the end of that game and knock Barcelona out.
Was this last year?
No, it was a few years ago.
Oh, okay. Then yeah.
I still remember the call though. They yelled out something like, "The Greek god come down from Mount Olympus." It was incredible.
That's
If you
awesome.
have time, go watch that clip.
Yeah,
It's incredible.
that's cool.
But anyway, that's it for Group C.
Okay, so we move on to Group D. Group D is a pretty good
I think it's a wide open
division.
group.
Very wide open group. It's Marseille versus Sporting this week, and Frankfurt versus, I'm not going to say that first name, so it's going to be Frankfurt versus Tottenham. Go ahead, Matt, and what you thinking about the group and the games?
All right. So Tottenham beat Marseille, which they should. Although I think Marseille is a pretty strong team. They're consistently near the top in France. But they are looking poor so far in the Champions League. They will be hoping for a result to turn things around, but Sporting is in incredible form in Champions League.
Mm-hmm.
Not domestically, surprisingly. They're actually in 8th in Portugal right now. But I think they're going to carry some of this momentum. They beat Spurs, a convincing 2-0. They are traveling to France for this game. But I do think that they will win. But it's going to be a 1-goal win. I think it's just going to be a 0-0 for Sporting.
Okay.
They kept Kane and Son and Kulusevski off the score sheet in their last game. So I think they'll be capable of keeping Marseille from scoring. What's your thoughts on that match?
I agree with you. They're a very good French team, Marseille. Very good French team. Sporting comes off a huge win against Tottenham. And that crowd was crazy. I watched the game right at the end. I think honestly it probably should have ended as a draw. There was a penalty that should have been given that was inside the box. But to give credit to Sporting, even after that happened, you can't just say, oh, that penalty, if they would have scored, it would have been, yeah, but Sporting scored another goal right after it happened. In the 90th minute, they scored another goal, so they kind of went ahead and go, okay, well, then we win 2-1, so instead of 1-0. So I give it to them. I also agree Marseille is good. I agree Sporting is great. I believe Sporting is on a roll right now, and I think the Sporting is going to get in the group of 16. And I think this is another game that's going to help them out. But I think they'll allow a goal this game. They haven't let a goal yet this entire time. I think this is their game though. It'll be a 2-1 win though this time for them.
You like your 2-1 wins?
I like my 2-1s. Yes, I like my 2-1s. I think Marseille just is too good, but I do believe it's going to be 2-1 for that one. What are you thinking about the other game?
Okay, so Tottenham are traveling to Frankfurt to play Eintracht Frankfurt, who are last year's Europa League winners, if I remember correctly. They are from Germany, and they are currently tied with Tottenham for second in the group, but they're behind a goal differential. They also beat Marseille, but they lost to Sporting. They didn't beat Marseille convincingly. I think they will have a lot to play for, but I think Tottenham will have a lot more to play for in this game. And I think Spurs are actually going to come in with the upset and win 2-0. I think Son is heating up, and he had his hat-trick game after their last Champions League game.
I just want to interject. Did you just make a joke, or was that just totally just happened? You literally just said the sun. You said the sun is heating up, basically.
Yeah, sun is heating up. That was completely
Yeah.
unintentional.
Sure.
Take it.
Sure. All right, go ahead.
I think he'll score. I think he'll score, and I think Richarlison will score as well. And they'll be able to shut down Frankfurt for 2-0 win. What do you think?
I think, I think I don't want biasy in this at all. And Frankfurt, I have huge biases for, and then Tottenham I have huge biases for. Frankfurt knocked out Rangers last season for the win. Yeah, they beat them in the finals. So that basically forced Rangers to win a playoff, which was way too grueling. Which I think that's the reason why they're having such a hard time in that division. Even come on, just beat Ajax. I mean, come on, guys, you're better than that. But just to see them lose and then them cheering. I mean, it's the first time. Just to let you know, it's the first time Frankfurt had won a trophy in their entire career of that team being formed.
Trophy, but
a trophy, any trophy at all. That was the first time they had ever done that, and it was an incredible feat. Great job, awesome. But you're facing Tottenham, guys. Come on, you're Tottenham here. Tottenham's way too good. They're not gonna let this happen. I will be in a complete agreement with you. It's gonna be 2-0. It'll be 2-0. And because we have a tie score, we'll have a tiebreaker. One thing we'll give an extra point for. My tiebreaker for this one will be who scores one of the two, or who scores both of the goals. I think that should be a good one. We'll say who scores both of the goals. I think Son's gonna win one, or is gonna get one goal. Now we don't have to say when, or who or when, which goal. I'll say Son's gonna get one, and Kane's gonna get the other. And that'll be my 2 goals. Who do you think are going to be your 2 goals?
Yeah, well, and so I already mentioned I think Son and Richarlison are going to score.
Okay.
So we could both be wrong. Very good chance. But if that result happens, then we'll see. But yeah, that's all I have for Group D. I will add. I don't think Marseille make it out. Just at this point.
Yeah.
It's kind of up in the air. Sporting are obviously in the lead, but if they lose and Tottenham or Frankfurt wins, then all of a sudden there's a tie there. So
yeah,
I think anything could happen with those 3.
I think Sporting and Tottenham make it to the group of 16. I think actually Marseille is going to be the win. I think they're going to get their win, and then they'll get like third? They're going to get third. They're going to go, and Frankfurt's going to get knocked out. Like I said, I got biases against them. The champion of that league is going to be knocked out. So I think they're gone. Boop, poosh, gone. Yeah. So, but now we'll move on to let's move on to Group E. Here we have Milan. I know it is. Ooh, it's my favorite too. Milan, Dynamo, Salzburg, and Chelsea. Go ahead, talk about the division, Matt, and then we'll get right onto those games.
So when the draw happened for this one, I was paying acute attention because I wanted to see who Chelsea was drawn into. And I immediately had thoughts. Milan is a strong team. They just won the Scudetto. They were the Italian champions last year.
Mm-hmm.
They are obviously the biggest threat in this group. Especially they were the Pool A team. Chelsea were the Pool B team.
Yeah.
Salzburg were 3 after doing very well in their Austrian league, league last year. Again, they're dominating that league this year. And Zagreb is a Croatian team with maybe they're not as bottom dwellers as, let's say, Pilsen, but they came out and showed their stuff in their first home game against Chelsea, a convincing 2-0 win.
Yeah.
I will say most of that game it was 1-0. It was mostly them defending, but defending very well.
Yeah.
Chelsea did what they could to score, and they could not, and then they let in like a 80-something minute goal that was just like a nothing at that point. But then they lost their next game to Milan, who is showing how strong they are. Chelsea is in last in that group though because they picked up a draw. So their first game was with their previous manager, as we've talked about in a video.
Yep.
Just following that game, Thomas Tuchel.
I would like to interject. Thank you all for watching that video too. That's the highest view group that we've ever had on that video. I wanted to get a video in immediately after. Unfortunately, Matt and I couldn't work on our schedules to get it to work or anything. But I thank you guys for that again. So yeah, keep watching the videos. What's that?
If you haven't checked it out,
yeah,
you should go over to the channel.
Yeah.
Watch that video.
Yeah, there'll be a marker in the top right hand corner right now, so you guys can watch about what we exactly talked about. There it is. Thank you, editor. All right, go ahead, Matt.
And yeah, and I'll say so the second game was with the new manager Graham Potter, formerly of Brighton Hove Albion, which is a 1-1 draw against Salzburg, who I thought were a team not to be underestimated, considering they're part of that whole Red Bull system.
Yeah.
They have a lot of promising young stars, one of whom who scored the equalizer in that game in the 75th minute to make it 1-1. But yeah, so anything could happen in this game. I will admit, a little bit of personal story time here, but I have not watched a Chelsea game. There has only been one since they sacked Tuchel.
Wow.
Strongly reconsidering everything, considering the the ownership and everything. But
yeah,
I think they will still find a way to not finish fourth in this group.
Okay.
No way Chelsea finishes fourth in this group. I think it will be an uphill battle. I think Milan will win the group. Honestly, it's like everybody's a point apart. So I think Zagreb will drop to fourth. That's my prediction. Salzburg third, Chelsea second.
Dynamo first, huh? Cool. All right.
And Milan first. Of course. We have some games this week. Salzburg hosts Dinamo Zagreb, and then obviously that means Chelsea is playing Milan at Stamford Bridge. What do you think will happen in the first of the two games between Salzburg and Zagreb?
Well, I want to talk a little bit about the group first.
Okay.
I watched the Chelsea game, both of them. I was in shock against Dynamo. They played like crap out there. You could tell, and you just saw it. And don't get me wrong, Dynamo, their best player was their left defenseman. He played amazing.
He was so good.
He was so good. And I didn't see their loss, but I saw that game and I was like, wow, that's good. And Chelsea's not playing.
Loss. It was only 2-1.
Yeah.
3-1.
Yeah.
Still, they played well.
Yeah, and I think Dynamo is showing themselves. I think in this division, I hate to say it, but I actually think the way it's going to work is it will be Salzburg last, Chelsea third, Dynamo's going to get second, and Milan's going to get first.
Wow.
That's how I see it. I think Salzburg is a good team. Of course, they come from Red Bull, which I do want to do. I want to do a video on how Red Bull teams and how like Red Bull teams, Man U or Man City have teams in like America and in Australia, yeah, all over the and they have teams all over the world. And I think that's a huge way of giving teams to have it, but also a really terrible way to have teams. But yeah, I have Milan first. I'll have Dynamo second, Chelsea third, and Salzburg's going to be fourth in that division. Now for the games, the first game, Salzburg and Dynamo. I of course then have with that being said, they're going to be away from their home.
Win.
Yep, they're going to be away. I actually have them as a draw. I think this game's a draw. That still will put them in a good spot. I'm not going to give away because that basically gives away my other game, but I'll give it a draw, and I'll actually go with it's going to be a 2-2 draw. It'll be a 2-2 draw.
Okay.
It'll be a late one. Dynamo's going to have the lead, and then they're going to come back. But yeah, that's what I have as that game.
All right. I think this game is actually going to go Salzburg's way.
Okay.
I think they the way that Dynamo Zagreb plays is they're very strong defensively, and they score a lot of their goals on the counter. But I think if Salzburg gets out to an early lead, they won't give up as many opportunities on the counter. I think they'll score one early, and they'll score another one before the end of the second half, and it'll be 2-0 for Salzburg.
2-0 for Salzburg. Okay.
But then the other big ticket game between Chelsea and Milan, AC Milan. What do you think that will happen in that game?
I think Chelsea's going to come in. They're at home, of course. I think Graham Potter is not showing himself right. I think Matt and I talked about this before the game. He's Graham Potter doesn't dress up super nice. He doesn't have his hair super nice. And I saw him in that game, and I'm like, who's that guy? He's dressed up in this black suit. You could tell it was custom to him. He had this black tie. His hair was done all well. I'm like,
making mad money now. You know?
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Is money gonna change you?
Is it an image thing?
Yeah. Yeah.
Chelsea, I have to look this way.
Yeah, and that's the thing. If that's gonna be something that's gonna convert your style, that's not you. That's not who you're gonna be. And I think that's going to fault them. And I think Milan's gonna win this game, of course, but they're gonna win it 2-0. They're gonna win 2-0. They'll win it 2-0. And I think that's gonna be Chelsea's error game, and it's gonna be like, holy crap, we're down again. We have 3 games left. We gotta at least get to the Europa. So, but yeah, that'll be them. So, what do you think?
So, in the last while, even including last year, Chelsea have played uncommonly bad at home in a lot of their games. For whatever reason, I think last year they actually had a better point total on the road in the Premier League than at home.
Okay.
You can fact check that one. I mean, maybe off, but from what I remember, they had a lot of good results on the road and poor results at home.
Yeah.
And I think that's, for whatever reason, going to continue to plague them. I think they're going to score in this game. They won't be kept off the score sheet, but I think it's going to be 2-1 for Milan.
Okay.
I think former Chelsea man Olivier Giroud is going to come in and score a beauty of a goal in front of the fans, but he won't celebrate because he's respectful like that. But yeah, I think they lose.
Okay. All right. So now we'll move on to Group F. This is going to be a group that I think you and I will both have the same winner in it. I think you and I will both have the same second place team too. But yeah, it's after first for sure. I think we'll definitely have that. This week's games are going to be Leipzig and Celtic. Leipzig at home, and you're going to go to Real Madrid and Shakhtar. Is that how you say it? Shakhtar? Shakhtar is going to go to Real Madrid. So, Matt, what do you think of a division? And then, if you want to go to the predictions.
So, just like they are in this group, Real Madrid have won every single game in their domestic league as well. I think that's going to continue. I think they're going to run away with this group. Leipzig was actually the Pool 2 team out of this group, and they're the ones who are in last right now, shockingly, after losing both their games. albeit one of them was to like strong opposition. Um, but I think Madrid's gonna run away with it. I think Leipzig though. I think they're actually going to recover. In the grand scheme of things, they're only like one of their 2 losses against Madrid, but everyone's going to lose to Madrid. So it really goes down to how they play against the other 2 teams. I think Shakhtar is going to slip a little bit. I think Leipzig is going to jump up, take second actually, and Shakhtar will qualify for the Europa League knockouts, leaving Celtic in last.
Okay.
What's your thoughts on that?
I of course agree with you. Real Madrid's gonna win the division. I think they're gonna get all points. I don't see them even slipping even once on any of those teams. So it's gonna be a battle for second place, basically.
I mean, what's their names? The team they lost to last year. Which I'm blanking on the name of. Who was in the Europa League this year? It's not on this league, so they don't have to worry about it.
Yeah. I thought you and I were. I think you and I had the same. I thought you and I would have the same second team in their kind of battle for third stuff. I have Celtic as number 2 on mine.
Really?
Celtic is a very good team, and they are scary how quickly they can score. Now, I know they've only scored 1 and let 4 in, and they didn't actually look very good in their first game. But I'm telling you, they're a team that you gotta watch out for, because right now in the Scottish League, they are, and I'm going to check right now to make sure I'm not lying to myself. They're in first place, which I know for a fact. But I think, yes, and I think they are about to clinch the division. Let me see, and
Really, it's too early for that.
Oh, you would think that, but they beat.
Only 2 points ahead of Rangers.
They beat Rangers twice. Oh, they've only played. Oh, that's right. They played 7 games. I'm sorry. I keep thinking it's they finished their league at the end of the year. But they switched. No, they switched. They switched it out. They used to do that. The end of their season was that way, but then they switched it out. I think for the corona stuff. But anyways, like I said, they clinched the league already. What? That's incredible. Yeah, so I'm completely wrong on that one. Yeah, they kicked the crap out of Rangers, and that was a huge game for them. They did lose their last game, which actually was a huge surprise. Yeah, that team. No, that team is a mid-tier team and sometimes goes back down. Because I watched the division a little bit, if anybody would beat Celtic, it would have been Rangers, Heart, and Motherwell. Maybe those teams would have been the teams that would have beat them. So to have that team that's in 4th, crazy. But anyways, like I say, I'm getting into now. See, I'm going to the Chelsea part of the league. But yeah, I do say that they're going to be in second. Third place is going to be Leipzig and Shakhtar. Yeah, Shakhtar is going to be my 4th. As for the games we have, As for the games we have Leipzig and Celtic battling each other. It's going to be in Leipzig, and we have Real Madrid and Shakhtar as they're going to go to Real Madrid. What do you think about the games?
So, like we said earlier, I'm going to start with the Real Madrid game because I think it's the one that we're going to agree on the most.
Okay.
I think Real Madrid wins. They're at home. They're just a class squad. They're so good. I think they'll win 3-0, and I will say one of the goals will be scored by none other than Eden Hazard.
Wow.
Who did score already for them this year.
Okay.
In another one of their games. In the Champions League as well, I believe.
Okay.
But I could be, Anyway, a little bit of former Chelsea bias, but he's finally back. We can hope. Um, but anyway, yeah, 3-0. What do you think?
I agree. And I'll go 3-0 too. I agree. It's gonna be in Real Madrid. You have Hazard scoring a goal. I have my thing is I'll say, and I won't even get a point. I just want this to be the winner for it. I'll say Hazard doesn't score a goal. I don't even want a point for it. That'll be the tiebreaker. That'll be the tiebreaker for us. All right. If it goes 3-0, yeah, tiebreaker for it. All right. So Leipzig and Celtic, and I think you already know who I'm going to pick. But yeah, go ahead.
I'm picking Leipzig here.
Okay.
It's at home.
Yep.
They are a very strong team. Just overall, they have been rising through the ranks of the German squads in the last few years. And I think we won't look at their domestic record right now because it's quite poor. But I think they're going to start their resurgence this year with a resounding 2-0 victory against Celtic.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I agree. They are away. And I think that'll be the Achilles heel of Celtic. But I also think that if you've seen them before, they're too good of a team not to side on them. They have an amazing goalie, and they have some really good scorers from afar. If you know anything about Leipzig, I believe that's the team that the former American coach. Yep. Oh, the former American coach used to coach at.
Yep.
And a couple of American players left. And because of that, they're not going to be as defensive. Remember, this team is in there because of what they did last year and what coach got them that far. That is why I believe they're there. This is why I also believe that Celtic is going to win this game, and I believe Celtic is going to win. But it's going to be a big score. I think. For me, it'll be 4-2. Celtic was winning this game. Celtic's coming in. They have some huge scores from afar. And if you know Leipzig, they don't have a defense. They do not have a defense back there. Their goalie's kind of okay. Their goalie's good, but he's kind of okay. So I'll do a 4-2 win for Celtic in that game. All right, so let's move on to Group G. This is a group which I think you and I are both going to have again the number one team. I believe I almost 100% for sure that we both will have a number 2, but our 3 and 4 are going to be probably different. Yeah, I do. But it might be the same. I don't know. We'll see if we grew up together. So this week it's going to be Dortmund and Sevilla, and Man City versus Copenhagen. Go ahead.
So I think City are too good a team to not win this group. They've already beat Dortmund once. They've all but locked it out basically now. If they keep winning, they basically, even if they drop a game against Dortmund, they can still win off goal differential. Even if they draw, they win the group. So I think they're gonna coast. This is the most important competition for Pep. He wants to win it. He has not won this competition yet. He's won all his Premier League titles. He wants to win this. They're gonna put everything into it.
Yep.
I think Dortmund is the next best team in this group by a considerable margin. Sevilla is a very strong team, especially in Europe. They're a very good Spanish squad. So I think they'll finish third. Dortmund will be second, and unfortunately Copenhagen will be in last. They were another one of those teams that had to go through the playoff to get here. Unfortunately, they're in a very strong group. I think Sevilla likes going through the Europa League anyway, so I think they won't actually be too unhappy about finishing the third.
Yeah.
Am I off from you, or are we locked in?
For me, I think I agree with you completely. Man City's gonna win it. Dortmund's gonna be second. It's going to be the only games Dortmund loses, of course, is the ones against Man City. Everything else they'll win. I'm kind of flipping a coin here on who's going to be the worst, but this is what I'm going to say. I will say both of the games are going to be basically draw and then draw again, and it's going to go goal differentials. And that's what's going to be. But I say it's going to be Copenhagen, honestly. I think the way the standings are right now, no, for in third. I think the standing is the way it is right now is the standings is going to be. Copenhagen is a team that is they're sneaky. They're really a sneaky team. And I think Savella will be one of those teams that are going to be exactly like you said. They're just happy to make it to the Europa League, but that's going to be the problem. They'll be just happy to make it, so they'll be going to that game thinking, okay guys, all we got to do is win this game. Let's just win it and we'll be good to go. And Copenhagen's going to be like, nah, sorry bro. And so that's what's going to get in the third game. So
it'll come down to what happens between the two teams.
Yeah. Yep.
But I think Copenhagen is the weaker squad, but we'll see, I guess.
All right. Dortmund versus.
I always love an underdog story. If they somehow qualify for the Europa League knockouts, I'd be so happy.
Yeah, they are one of the. It's one of the weird teams with them. Copenhagen, if you know Copenhagen, they're one of the weird teams. They got this sneaky little squad that can beat the best teams, but they can lose to the worst teams too. So. I will say anybody who says, oh yeah, they got a lucky draw, whatever, yada yada yada. Okay, keep thinking that, because I think that they might get another draw in that other game too, and they'll win a goal differential.
Okay.
All right, so Dortmund, Savella, who do you think?
Yeah, so Dortmund is going to Seville for this game. They're going to Spain. But I think they're still going to be a favored. They're a very strong team. They have some wonder kids and such. One who's been attracting a lot of international interest. One Jude Bellingham.
Yeah.
So keep an eye on him for the next big transfer saga. I think this game's going to end 1-1. I think... it's going to be tightly fought, but the home team is going to manage to pick up a point, a crucial point, which will put them into third in the group.
Okay.
What do you think?
Dortmund win, of course, it's at home. I agree with you. They have. Oh, is it not? They're away.
They're away.
Well, Dortmund wins away. They take the crowd out of it. I don't know. I had them as a home game. Weird. Anyways, Dortmund's going to win 2-0. Easy win for them. I literally have nothing more to say about it, because we all know Dortmund is one of those squads that is like, I come in, I have the best players that are super young, and then I sell all my best players. So that is how it is. Shut it and let it work. Let our system work this way. So it's like, okay, yeah. Man City versus Copenhagen. What do you got?
So this is at the Etihad.
Yeah.
In Manchester. I think they're gonna come out and smash them. I think they're gonna play a lot of rotation players in this game and still win. I think if they played all their starters, it would be a lot of goals. But I think it's actually only gonna be 3-0 for City in this game. They'll score 2 of them at post 60 minutes, because that's when they'll sub on some of their bigger guys.
Okay. It's gonna be Man City winning, of course, and as of course, like you said earlier, that they're like the best team from London. I'm never gonna let you get that down. Yes, folks.
Said that
yes, you did. You did.
I was talking about time zones.
Yeah.
I wasn't comparing teams.
Let's put some backstory on this. Let's put some backstory. I swear I heard him say that Man City was the best team in London. I nearly went, oh man, we are in some big trouble here. But hey, I had to bring it out. Anyways, I agree with you though. It is going to be 3-0.
I mistakenly said that that's where they played. I didn't say that that's where they were the best team from.
Oh, chat, let him know, please. Let him know down below on how wrong he is. But anyways, Yeah, I agree. It's going to be 3-0. And I also agree it's going to be the 60th minute, which is weird. And the only reason I'm saying that is if you check back on all their games, the Newcastle game, the games that they're behind in, they score a majority of their goals in the 60th minute. It's the weirdest thing, but they score their goals and they score rapid fire. And I think they will be down, or they'll be up 1-0. Pep is going to get really scared. And Pep is going to do this thing where he tinkers with something, like some kind of machine, and he's like, oh, this cog's in the wrong spot, and they're like, no, it's working. He's like, no, let me do this, and he takes it out, takes a piece, and puts a new piece in, and he takes another piece out, puts a different piece in, and these two pieces, which will have normally no effect on any game ever, all of a sudden out of nowhere, they score 2 goals. Not those people, but they'll set up 2 goals. You know, and so like, what the heck just happened? But yes, it'll be a 3-0, and then 2 of the goals will be in the 60th minute. So I agree on that one. Group H, which is a pretty good group actually. Yeah, it's the last group, and it's a pretty good group actually overall. This week we will have Benfica versus PSG, and Juventus versus, I want to say it's Maccabi. Maccabi, thank you, Maccabi. All right.
An Israeli team.
All right, go ahead, Matt.
So this group is very interesting because it's the only group where 2 teams have won their first 2, and the other 2 teams have lost their first 2. Paris, obviously the favorite. They smashed Maccabi Haifa in one of their other games. 3-1. They did allow a goal, but they still won convincingly. They also beat Juventus in the first match week. That game was very close though, 2-1. I think they'll win again, and I think they'll win this group. The interesting thing is second place. So we were talking earlier about how Barcelona didn't qualify to their group last year in the Champions League.
Yep.
The team that took second from them was Benfica. One of the very strong Portuguese teams, and I think they'll continue their good form. Unlike their countrymen over at Porto, who have 0 wins from 2 games, they will actually continue. They will get results, I think, enough to stay above Juventus. Currently, right now, they're 6 points up, which means that like they would have to lose to Juventus. And like drop points elsewhere. But they do play Juventus, not this coming week, but the following one. I believe. Oh no, it's after. It's Matchday 5. But yeah, it's gonna be very interesting. They essentially, Juventus has to win every game. Assuming they all lose against Paris.
Yeah.
Which may or may not happen. Someone could take a point there. But Juventus would need to win every single game from here on out to try to get second, and I don't think they're in the form to do it. So I think they will win their games against Maccabi Haifa, who will bottom the group. I think that's not a far shot at all. I think much like Pilsen, they're just happy to be here, and they're gonna enjoy their games, but not win any of them.
Of course, yeah. So what do you have as Benfica this week versus PSG?
So this one is a home game for Benfica. And they've won their previous 2 games, which is kind of crazy. They beat Juventus last match week, and that was an away game. So I actually think they will put up a good fight. I think they'll score 2 goals this game, but I think Paris will score more.
Okay.
The firepower of Neymar and Messi and like that whole team is just, and Mbappe. It's so hard to stop. So I think Paris is gonna win 3-2. What's your thoughts on that one?
So, I wanted to go a little more in depth into this division a little bit, but I agree with you. PSG's first. Um, we all know who the last place team is going to be. Definitely, this is going to be Benfica versus Juventus. I think Benfica is going to get second. It's going to be an upset, and Juventus is going to get third, of course. And I think, and the reason why I wanted to get more in depth is because this is the week it's going to be an upset. Benfica versus PSG. PSG, I've been looking at some of the news on PSG, and there is some disarray, even though you have some great players on the team and they can play. But if you have some of that toxicity in that game, or in there, that is when you start having problems. And I think, yeah, I think Mbappe is one of these guys. Of course, he's going to be in the World Cup, so he doesn't have any worries on that. But if you've noticed, he got a brand new contract. His contract was one of the biggest contracts ever. They basically gave him keys to the entire stadium. He owns the team, basically. And I think he's starting to get a little upset with the team a little bit. And in that, this is a game that PSG is going to be like, no guys, we got to win this, but we can lose if we need to, whatever. And I think they're going to be drawn until really late. Benfica's going to score. Probably about 75th minute, it's going to tie the game. And then near the 90th minute, you're gonna see this. It's gonna be an image. It's Benfica scoring. They all run over to the side of the crowd where their whole team's at, and you have a picture of Mbappe and Messi walking back with their heads down. That's gonna be the exact picture in there. The game's gonna be over, but I agree with you. I think it's going to be 3-2.
Okay.
But it's going to be Benfica. 3-2 Benfica on this one. I think what's going to be is everybody's going to have their heads down. And I don't think it's going to be those big scorer players, but they're going to start getting frustrated with the defense. And their goalie's not going to play very well. So, for some reason, I just had this weird feeling. The goalie's not going to play well. It's going to be 3-2 though.
I mean, the Italian.
Yeah, one of the best goalies in the world. He's a great goalie though. But yep, that's what I have. What do you have for the Juventus game?
Well, I think Juventus wins.
Okay.
But I think it's going to be a modest 2-0 win.
Okay.
They will get their goal early enough, but they won't really score much else until the last 20 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
They'll have an insurance goal. It is at home. They'll have the Rocket supporters behind them.
Yeah.
But yeah, 2. It's a modest number, but they'll win.
Yeah, I agree. They win, but I think they don't get the second goal. I think they win 1-0. That's it. I think it's going to be one of the boring games. It'll be a 1-0. It might be a score in the 15th minute, and then the rest of the game is going to be, we can't score, we're doing terribly, yada yada yada, just all this terrible stuff. Bad luck, both sides, whatever. But it's going to be 1-0. And I just don't see Venice losing that game. But I don't see them dominating either. So, but that is it for the week. Thank you again, Matt, for being here and for your predictions and your thoughts on the group stage. We'll be back again next week, guys, for more Champions League. We'll let you guys know what our predictions are for this. Hope you guys enjoy this. Make sure to watch the other video we have about the Premier League if you enjoyed. There's the tag right there. Thank you again. Have a great night. Thank you again, Matt. Have a good night and goodbye.